Hey, what is going on you guys? It's Epic here, welcome back to another Wayfinder video. Before the video starts, it's highly likely when you're watching this that I'm streaming Wayfinder on Twitch at EpicNNG, so come and follow us and have a good time. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make the Legendary Tempest Marksman Rifle. This thing is quite difficult to get, but I'm going to run you through it today and make it as easy and as streamlined as possible. So let's waste no time. On screen is a full list of every single ingredient you're going to need in order to craft this. We'll go through these one at a time and talk about how we get our hands on them. The first thing you're going to need is 3 Ichor Pearls. You'll get these from the Blood Spawn boss that you'll unlock during your playthrough. It's important to note that you don't need to play on a high difficulty to farm these items. Simply put it on the lowest difficulty, load up the session, and get to farming. It's going to take a lot of farming, a lot of repeat activity completions to get your hands on the things you're going to need. So yes, just do the Blood Spawn until you have 3 Ichor Pearls. That's the first thing you're going to need. For the next ingredient, you're going to need 6 Gems of Avarice. You can find these in Loot Goblin events in any of the Aurelian activities. Just make sure they're expeditions and you'll have a chance to come across a Loot Goblin which you'll need to kill before the time runs out. It's not difficult to do, and doing it will give you a Gem of Avarice. You'll need 6 of these. For the next thing, you're going to need 3 Halcyon Orbs. You'll find these specifically in the Codex Hall Orb event. The Codex Hall is the first expedition you'll see in the Gloomgate menu, and you're going to be looking for a room that looks like this with a bunch of these huge floating orbs. Jump down to the bottom and interact to start the event puzzle. Now go all the way back up to the top, and all you've got to do is stand on these plates until all of the orbs are aligned into the floating spheres that you can see. They're like these little holograms. Once you line up all of the balls, you can go back down to the bottom, open the chest in the room that has opened up, and grab your Halcyon Orb. Now, next up, we have 2 ingredients that come from the same area. You're going to need to get to the Trial of Lingering Light portion of your playthrough, and this is where you'll be farming for a while. You're going to need 6, a whopping 6 Remnant Nexus ingredients, and the actual Tempest Essence required for the gun. You'll get both of these in there, and it does appear that they can both drop at the same time. So load it up, even if it's in matchmaking. Again, lowest difficulty is totally fine to my knowledge. I don't believe higher difficulties have any influence on it. If they do, let me know and I'll update it. But when you get into Lingering Light and you complete it, hopefully over time you will have acquired 6 Remnant Nexus and the Tempest Essence. Next up, there are 3 common ingredients. Luckily, these shouldn't be as hard to come across. You're going to need times 60 Molten Spectra. You'll get these by simply putting any solar mutator on an expedition, going in, and then breaking the shiny shards that you see around it. It's not hard to get. This isn't a very rare thing to find. You should be able to rack this up in maybe 20-30 minutes of farming. Next, you will need 46 Blood Touch Spectra from the Pit Expedition. Simply load into the pit and do the same thing, breaking all of these shards. Make sure you don't have a mutator on, and you should get the Blood Touch Spectra. And then finally, you'll need 120 Silver Spectra from the Codex Halls in particular. So, while you're in the Codex Halls trying to get your hands on those Halcyon Orbs, keep an eye out for the shards, break them, you'll get yourself some Silver Spectra. Now that you've got all of this stuff, the last thing you're going to need is 16,000 gold, specifically 15,900. Well, let's just call it 16,000. An easy way to farm gold right now seems to be to just load into a high level expedition, as high level as you can. It can be Codex Halls if you want to knock these all out. That's probably what I would recommend. Go into a high level Codex Hall and just go around collecting a bunch of chests. Now, I know a lot of people are saying to put the greed mutators on right now, but in my experience, these do not speed up this process at all. While the gold piles might get you a little bit, it's definitely not worth to double up the greed mutator and go for the Midas mutator, because this is going to make enemies harder and slow your progress down overall. So if you do want to do the greed mutator, just make sure you do only one of them. But you're going to keep doing that until you've got 15,900 gold, and now, my friends, we are ready to craft. So, come over to the Arsenal in Skylight. It's in the Market Row. It's very easy to find. I'll show you it on the map right here. And this is where we are going to craft our weapon. We're going to go over to Arsenal. We're going to go to Weapon Crafting. And first and foremost, we're going to have to craft all of the things tied to the Tempest. This includes the shell, the form, and the spirit. So we're going to go and craft the shell first. And now we're going to go and craft the form next. finally, we're going to craft the spirit here. And now that we have all 4 of our ingredients for the actual thing, including the gold we're going to need, we're going to craft the Tempest. Now, breaking down the Tempest, what you should know is that this bad boy is going to start out with a boost in its overall weapon power. At max level, with 6 tempers, and at level 30, you're going to find this thing at 1384 weapon power. That is insanely high for a weapon of this caliber, so if you are going to build for this weapon, I would recommend going for weapon power. While break power is important in Wayfinder, you should know that this being a marksman weapon will cut through most of resilience on enemies, so you don't have to worry too much about break power here. The Tempest is a shotgun, meaning it is not a rifle. This thing isn't going to be your best friend for long range. However, using this for damage in short range will paint an entirely different picture. Like with your typical marksman weapon, you're going to have to build up the ability for the Tempest by using Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is the mechanic for marksman weapons, which has you hitting weak spots on enemies after shooting them to build up pips that you can then use for your ability. So I'm simply going to start shooting at the enemy right here. As you can see, we have quite a slow fire rate, but as soon as we see one of those weak spots appear, we're going to hit it right here, and now we can use the special effect of the Tempest, which in our case is going to be Bullet Storm. Consumes all locked and loaded charges and fires 2 rapid blasts per charge. So what's important to know about the Tempest is that for just 1 pip, you're going to get 1 of these bursts, but if I have 3 pips, I will get 3 of them bursts. It will use all of it at once. So let's see what that looks like now. So we have 3 pips on our weapon currently. I'm going to reset the training dummy real quick. And now let's do our 3 bursts of the weapon's ability. Wow, that is that's really fun. Now, taking a look at the echo slots for this weapon, when you get this at level 1, it's going to start with an attack slot. When you get this to level 5, you're going to get a rush slot. At level 15, you'll get another attack slot. And then at level 25, the weapon will gain a balance slot. So that's just something to keep in mind if you want to prioritize certain echo types. This thing is going to come with 2 attack slots, 1 rush slot, and 1 balance slot. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you and something like you want in your build, then definitely keep that in mind. For the affinities on the weapon, your crit rating is going to be boosted by your instinct stat as well as your crit power. Into your discipline stat, it's going to boost max health and physical defense, and then finally into your focus stat, it's going to boost your weapon power and your ability power. So this thing has a lot of areas to boost the overall damage of it, which I think is really neat. So guys, that's going to do it for my guide on how to craft the Tempest Shotgun in Wayfinder. If this video helped you out, feel free to leave a like on it and sub to the channel for more Wayfinder content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check you all in the next one.